Let me record. All right, we are recording. Yay! All right, so this is Julie Voris, and Julie Voris is part of Platinum Presenters. So, like if you heard her say, she's directly below Christine Dwyer. She's a 15-star diamond, which means she's a superstar diamond. She is a 5-time elite coach. She's a master trainer for Beachbody, and she's actually been in the top 5 of all the master trainers for the company. She lives in Indiana, Carmel, Indiana. Is that close to Indianapolis?
Well, only in California. Is it Carmel?
Oh, it's Carmel.
Indiana, it's just Carmel.
Sorry.
It's just Carmel in Indiana. And yes, we're very close. I actually live at 131st Street in Carmel, and Indianapolis technically starts at 96th. So we're a little suburb.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Perfect. Well, she is married with 3 daughters. Her husband is the head football coach of Butler University. And like I said, she's a fitness instructor, master trainer, and then she's just a rock star Beachbody coach. So I'm super, super honored that she said yes to joining us for our team call today. And I can't wait to learn from her for sure. So thank you so much, Julie. I'm excited.
Oh, my pleasure. And I saw someone chatted. I think they asked what it means to be a master trainer. And I am a master trainer for the Beachbody Live format. So that means I train people to be instructors of the Beachbody Live formats. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. I'll give you a little context so you kind of know where I came from, where I am, and how anything that I might have going on in my business might apply to you. I would suggest you mute if you're not. You know what, car driver Wendy, I can't mute you. Natalie, maybe you can. It's hard to do it on your phone when you're driving, and do not take your hands off the wheel. You keep on driving. We'll see if we can mute you.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, I can mute it. Let me see. Mute.
Yeah. Only movement that you can make is dancing. If you're dancing in your car, that's okay. Other than that, you just keep looking straight ahead. I taught size yesterday for the first time, and I was dancing in my car on the way to work. And you know that I've done that for years. Turbo, doesn't matter what I'm teaching them. I'm like rehearsing it on the way to work. So I was a high school English teacher back in the day, and my husband has always been a college football coach. We've been married 22 years. So we chose professions that are really rewarding in a lot of ways, except financial. They're rewarding in probably every way except financial. And we have 3 children, and with my husband's job, we tend to move a lot. And before the 3rd one was born, we had the 2, and I had been teaching full-time English. Before the 3rd one was born, we moved again, and we moved to Pennsylvania, we knew no one, and it was a Division II job, so it was definitely a step up for us, and we knew no one in the area, and we decided that I would stay home for a year, and I got pregnant with our 3rd, and so I decided I would now stay home from now on. And so we made that decision that I would be home because we saw the trend that we would probably be moving quite a bit for the next little while, which we did. And we stayed in Pennsylvania for a year, and we moved again the next year. But while we were in Pennsylvania, because I knew no one in the area, I joined the YMCA, and my 2 older girls did classes. And when I was growing up, the YMCA was not the greatest place to join. I took swimming lessons there, but it wasn't like the fitness place to go. But in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, which was a small town, it was the place to be. And so that's where we joined, and I kind of started an affiliation with the Y. We moved again the next year to Waukesha, Wisconsin, and it was a pretty pivotal year for us. It was my husband's first job as a head coach. It was the first time that I was home full-time now with 3 children. I had a newborn. I had my middle one started preschool, and my oldest one started kindergarten. So it's a pretty pivotal year as a parent. And then my husband started this brand new job at a program that had been quite bad for quite some time. And so we had a lot of rebuilding to do, and that we were in a town where we really did not know anyone. All my kids are going to school. My father had just passed away, and our dog had died. So there's a lot of stuff going on in our life in about 3 months. So when we moved to Waukesha, I joined the Y. I just transferred my membership, and I joined the YMCA in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I started taking some fitness classes in August. And I put my 2 older girls, in whatever lessons that they wanted to try, to kind of figure out their passions, what they wanted to do. And in November of that year, I was sitting on the blue bench in the lobby of the YMCA there. And the fitness director sat down next to me, and she said, I think you should start teaching group exercise, and I think you need to start in January. So this was about mid-November. I had never thought of teaching group exercise before in my life. I had been a high school teacher. I loved fitness. And truth be told, I was probably sometimes reading Shape magazine while they were taking a test during class. So I always had a love for fitness, but I never thought about making it any kind of profession. So in January, I started teaching some kickboxing classes, and I started with these big heavy bags and these gloves, and we would hit the bags, and I had zero training, only just my love of fitness and kind of a teaching background, and started teaching these kickboxing classes. In April of that year, I went to my very first fitness conference in Chicago, and it was called IDEA. And I just signed up for whatever sessions there were. We were there on Friday and Saturday. There were several of us from my YMCA that went. I just signed up for sessions, and 7:30 a.m. on Friday morning, very first session, very first day, very first fitness conference ever. We're sitting in this huge ballroom, and the doors open to the side, and I turn, and in walks this teeny tiny blonde in the coolest workout clothes that I've ever seen in my life. And I had unknowingly signed up for Turbo Kick for my very first session. And we were about 30 minutes into the session, and Shalene's teaching, and I looked at my group exercise director and said, I'm in. I'm all in. This is it for me. I don't know how we get this at our Y. I don't know what I do, but I am in with this. So we pursued having a certification. I got certified. I started teaching. I brought that program to that YMCA, and then decided to apply to become a master trainer. And when you think about that now, I think, why? What even made me think that I could do this? And I still have no idea what Shalene saw, because we had to send in a video, we had to do an application, then we had to come to California, then it was like a 4-day long interview process. It was crazy, amazing, awesome. I got picked up by Shalene at the hotel in her white Escalade with Turbo Girl on the license plates, and it was just the most amazing experience. And I still don't know what she saw in me to want to represent her product, but thank goodness she did, because she did, that changed really the course of the rest of my life. I became a master trainer. In those days, it was just Payo and Turbo. I had Payo lesson 1. I started on Turbo Kick round 16 or 17, and we're now on round 67 with Turbo. So I've been doing it a long, long time, and just continued to build some kind of career as a master trainer. And those of you that are familiar with maybe teaching salaries and fitness instructor salaries, there aren't a lot of places you can go where you take a pay cut from being a high school teacher, but teaching group exercise is one of them. So I went from being a high school teacher to teaching group exercise, but I did get my membership at the Y free, and started to build a little bit of traction as a master trainer with Turbo Kick and Payo, and I loved every single minute of it. I loved it. And we had moved again to Indiana, and I was teaching in Indiana, and I got a phone call from Shalene after I taught class one day, which wasn't too unusual, but it was in the middle of the day, which made it a little bit unusual. And she said, and this was about the time we were affiliating with Beachbody with Turbo Jam, and I think we might have been on QVC by that point. But Beachbody was kind of starting to become a little bit part of our language because of Turbo Jam being that home workout. And she said, we think we have an opportunity. We've been watching Beachbody, and yes, they have the infomercials, and yes, they have the products, but they have a coaching opportunity as well. And we've been watching it for a little while, and we think it's a great way for our master trainers especially, and fitness instructors in general, to come on board and maybe make some money as of doing what you love as a fitness instructor, or maybe expanding your platform for a little bit. So I think much like all of us do, and all of us hope that happens, I became a coach because someone believed in me and recommended it to me and thought it would be a good idea. Shalene thought it would be a good idea. I trusted her. I had an amazing relationship with her. I believed in her. I believed in what she thought and what she said and what she recommended. And so I became a coach. And I think that happens to all of us now. The folks on our team, they become coaches on our team because they believe in us. They have a relationship with us. They trust us. We recommend that. They join our team. So I did that. I really had no idea what I was doing. And for 8 months as a coach, I did nothing. Zero. Had no idea what I was in. I did nothing. I didn't know what to do. This was when we had no Shakeology and no challenge backs, and mostly P90X and Turbo Jam and Slim and Six and maybe Yoga Booty Ballet. There was no Insanity. I remember when Insanity came out. There was no Insanity Max 30, there was no Payo, there was no Turbo Fire, there was none of that. And there was no Shakeology. So it was an interesting time. It's been really cool to be in the business since that time and watch it evolve and grow. It's mind-blowing, honestly. to think about it. And when I became a coach here, we lived here in Carmel, and I might have been the only Beachbody coach in Indiana. And our team for a long time was the only Beachbody team in Indiana. And now our team is the highest ranked team, the highest Star Diamond team in Indiana. But it's not the only team in Indiana anymore, because we're certainly expanding and we're certainly growing. But for a long time we were, and that was an interesting part of the journey as well, to start as a Beachbody coach. And when I started, I just wanted to pay for the music that I used in my classes. I wanted to buy some Nikes to wear when I taught. And I wanted to maybe start a savings account to take my family back to Disney World. I really didn't know the vision. And I think that's important to understand too, because, you know, we talk a lot with our new coaches about what's your why and really digging into your why. Nobody knows what their why is when they join as a Beachbody coach. Nobody knows that. You know why? Because no one has any idea the immense potential of this business. I think even now, knowing what we know and seeing what we see and knowing where we're going, and listening to Carl talk and looking at the products that come out and that are continuing to come out, and listening to Carl talk about what's coming out next year is going to blow our mind. Even now, I don't think we have any idea of the immense potential of this business. So new coaches have no idea what their why is and what they can do with this business. At the very most, they probably think, I just want to pay for my Shakeology. I just wanted to buy some new shoes and some music and maybe go to Disney World at some point. So I think it's okay to remember, for new coaches, they don't have to have some big, grand, amazing why. That can come as they build and as they see the potential and as you cast the vision for them. But in the beginning, they just might want to buy some new shoes, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay, because that's where I was. I did nothing with the business for a long time. Finally started to see the potential of it as I went to live events, because there was nothing here in Indiana. We had nothing. So it was maybe going to California and seeing something out there. And then it was starting to go to Columbus, Ohio. And then it was to go to Chicago. And then we went to Nashville, Tennessee. And then we went to Memphis, Tennessee. Because there was nothing in Indiana. We got in our car and we road tripped. And I think that really set a strong foundation for our team. And it was kind of cool to see that happen again with Summit this year being in Nashville. Nashville is only about 4 hours from Indianapolis. Yay, no plane ride. And so many of my coaches were able to get in a car and road trip to Nashville and have that same experience that we had when the team was just starting, because there was nothing here. And as our team started to get traction and started to grow, we found ourselves stalled out at about a 9-star diamond. And I had been sitting at being a 9-star diamond coach, and that's an important piece of the verbiage, because that's what I thought of myself at that time, being a 9-star diamond coach, rather than it being our team. And we had been stalled out for about 2 years. I had heard the same piece of advice over and over again from Jeremy Redd, who works for corporate, and I had ignored it for 2 years. And when I finally took his piece of advice, it changed my life. It changed my business. So I'm going to share that piece of advice with you. And I've got some other tips that I might share with you that you might be able to use in your business as well. And Jeremy's piece of advice to me was, you need to, on a regular, non-negotiable, everyday basis, you need to start and finish our home workout programs, period, hands down. You must be doing our home workout programs. Now that seems like simple advice probably to most of you, but to me, I was a fitness instructor and a master trainer, and I fought that. I am sad to think of the energy and time that I spent fighting that piece of advice. He told it to me about 2 years ago. He told it to me about a year and a half ago. He told it to me about a year ago. And finally, 6 years into being a coach, I decided to take his advice, because he had told it to me often enough, and I'm smart enough in some ways to understand, okay, if I'm hearing the same piece of advice over and over again, there must be some validity to it. I should do it. I had been fighting it because in my mind, I thought, I don't have time and I'm not physically capable of doing a home workout when I'm already teaching classes and already doing trainings on the weekends. I simply cannot do it. And that is the antithesis of everything that I tell my classes, everything I tell my challengers, everything I tell people that come to my certifications. I am all about being stronger than you think you are. I am all about my hashtag, my slogan, my mantra is yes, you can. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And yet I was not living that myself, because I was fighting that thing that I really needed to do by saying, I don't have time. I already teach our classes. I don't really need to do a home workout. After hearing that piece of advice for for a couple years, I decided that there must be some merit to it and I should probably take it. But what program should I do? What's not just going to wreck me? PIO came out last year. And as I said, I've been with PIO since PIO Lesson 1, which I have on VHS tape. And it's very, very different than the PIO now, which I love. And I decided, well, I'll do PIO as my first home workout. Yeah, 6 years into being a Beachbody coach, I did PIO as my first home workout. Day 1 to day 60, I did that every day. I took it with me to Disney. I took it with me to the lake. Didn't matter where we were going. I did that workout. I committed to it. It was the first time that I did a program start to finish. It was the first time I did a complete program with my challenge group at the same time. And those 60 days changed my business. They changed my business because I was different. I was different because of that experience. My business became different because nothing happens in our business unless we change it in our lives. Nothing happens professionally unless we do it personally. It just doesn't. So because I was different from that experience, my business changed and I could start to see some movement and some momentum and something was happening and the ball was starting to roll again and people were starting to advance rank and things were going on. And at the end of October, I got a call from Beachbody headquarters that said, would you like to be part of the Insanity Max 30 coach test group? Without even thinking, I said yes. I didn't think about how am I going to fit this in my day? And I didn't think about how's my body going to take it. I just said yes. And then when I got off the phone, I thought, oh, I just committed to insanity every single day for the next 60 days. This could be crazy. And that program changed my life. Hands down. That program changed my life. Doing the PIO home workout day 1 to day 60 changed me and changed my business. Insanity Max 30 changed my life. And because of that, completely changed my business. Completely. That program, if you have not done it, can change your life if you will let it. I don't know that I would have done it and committed to it had I not done PIO in the first place. You know, everything happens for a reason. There was a reason why I finally listened to Jeremy's advice. There's a reason why I chose PIO to start. There was a reason why I got that phone call and why I committed to Max 30. It was our time. It was our time to move forward and to grow. And from that program, I then turned it right around and did a second round of Insanity Max 30 after that. And we went from being a 9-star diamond team that had sat at 9-star diamond for quite some time, 2 years at least. That was probably August to April 15th in 2015, the 15th week of the year, we became a 15-star diamond coach. I became a coach. I became a 15-star diamond coach. We became a 15-star diamond team. So that's about 6 or 7 months that we made that jump from being a 9-star team to being a 15-star diamond team. That's not very long when you think about it in the life of a coach, because I had been a coach for 6 years up to then. You know, why did it happen in that short amount of time? And if you were listening to the national coach, it was crazy. It was a really weird, almost surreal experience, because if you were listening to the national coach calls at those points, the way my diamonds were hitting and sustaining and hitting their ranks, it was 1 week we went from 9-star to 11-star. And the next week we were hitting 12-star. And the next week we were hitting 13-star. And, you know, Jeremy and Jeff Hill will call me and go, what is going on down there? I'm like, I'm doing a program. I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing. And interestingly enough, when I was doing the thing that I was supposed to be doing, that we're supposed to be doing, and I was committing to the 3 vital behaviors, and I was sharing that with my team, they could feel that, and we changed. Our team changed. Our team culture changed. And we're kind of in the midst of another team culture change now, because that changes your team, and we need to now continue to elevate. And so we're working on finding that next level for all of us now. And that's a transition too. And how did it happen? Because they were waiting on me to get better. They were waiting on me. I had to get better. I had to get in the space in my head to be a better leader. They were waiting on me. And when I was finally ready, and I was doing the things that I was supposed to be doing all along, then they were ready to go with me. So I'm going to share some pieces that I learned on that journey with you, and I have 5 of them. And I think that in some ways they can help you in your journey, where no matter where you are in your business, and no matter what your goals are, whether you want to grow a huge, ginormous business that allows you to retire in Bora Bora, or if you just want to pay for your Shakeology or some new Nikes, whatever you want, I think these 5 pieces will help you. So number 1 is that you need to be open. And by open, I mean coachable. Clearly, for 2 years, I was not. Clearly, I was not. So that's why it's number one on my list, is that you have to be coachable. Because can you imagine if I would have spent my energy and my time actually doing the pieces of advice that I had been told 2 years ago, how much a better leader I would be by now, and how much further along my team would be by now, how much better we all would be by now if I would have done that 2 years ago. But I didn't, and it's part of the journey. And so I'm very passionate about being coachable. I talk about it with my team all the time. And you guys probably know coaches on your team that you've given advice to, and they just keep plugging along, wondering why their business isn't growing. It's because they're not coachable. That is the number one trait of building a business besides consistency, is that inner trait of being coachable. You know, my husband, as a football coach, always says he would rather have a kid that has a little bit less talent, but has a better attitude, better work ethic, and is coachable any day than some kid who's superbly talented and thinks he knows it all. I bet you have those coaches on your team too. Sometimes we can be that ourselves, because I know I was. So number one is that we have to be coachable. If you don't have a success partner or you don't have a mentor, you need to get one. And my success partner lives right there in Dallas, Texas. Danielle Natoni and I are success partners, and we started our relationship being success partners probably in May or June. And it's a really great match. And it's a really great way to have someone else who's very much in the trenches with you, who's not your upline or your downline, and who's not your spouse. Because if you're married, your spouse already thinks you're a rock star. Doesn't matter what you do, they think you're a rock star. You need someone who doesn't always quite think you're a rock star, who will push you to your potential. And that's what a success partner or a mentor will do. So you need to get one of those. And then you need to be coachable. You need to let them ask you hard questions, and you need to be open to trying to figure out the answers. You don't have to have all the answers, but you got to be open and figuring them out. Right before I got on this call, I had my weekly call with Jeremy Redd. Jeremy asks me hard questions. He had some particularly uncomfortable challenges for me this week. And I have to be willing to let him ask me those and to give me those challenges. And then I have to be willing to do them. And it might take me a little bit of time. That's okay. But if I am not open to listening to him give me those challenges or ask me those questions, I'm going to be stuck in the same place. We will all be stuck in the same place. So number one is that we have to be coachable. Number two, we have to collaborate. I am really big on working with your team, with your diamonds, with your star diamonds, within your team, and collaborating on team challenges, team coach basics, whatever it is. I think that there's a fine line there. And yes, you want to be empowering your diamonds and your star diamonds to run their own businesses. But it's really powerful when you are running a team-wide size challenge group, because now those new coaches who have no idea how to run a challenge group can come in with you, and you will take care of them. And they will learn and watch, and they know how to run a challenge group after they've done that with you. And you know, when you work with other people on your team, I think of coaching sometimes as like when I used to teach high school, and we all went into the same building, which is in our case Beachbody, but we went into different classrooms, which in our case are our businesses. And we stayed in our classrooms all day long and didn't see another adult till we came out to leave the building. And there was no collaboration, and then we wondered why we didn't get any better. But the more we collaborate, the more we work together, the more we connect with each other, the better off we all are. Our mantra, our saying this year on our team has been rising tides lift all ships. We have embraced that as a team, because the more momentum everyone has, the more momentum everyone has. The more success everyone has, the more success everyone has. So when you're working together, you really can, gain from other people's momentum. You have to be working together to understand how powerful you are together. If I had not done challenge groups with my team, I would never have learned that Sandra, my diamond coach, is an amazing cook, and she is a great resource for all things nutrition. I would never have learned that my star diamond coach, April, is like a Pinterest expert, phenom. And if I want anything to know about Pinterest, I would go to her. I would never have known that had I not worked with them. And why not have a variety of experts and resources on your team? And you find them by working together, by collaborating. So that's number two. Number three, differentiate yourself. What do you offer that others don't? And what is your story? Because my friends, let me tell you, someone is out there looking for you. They're not looking for me. They're not looking for Natalie. They're not looking for Melissa. They're not looking for anybody. They're not looking for Christine or anybody else. They are looking for you and your story, your unique gifts, your unique strengths, your unique story. They're looking for that because they will connect with you. So you need to take a look across the board at what successful coaches are doing that is working. And then you need to be inspired by it, but never copy it. Because what you have that differentiates you is special and unique. And that's what makes your story special and unique. So take a look at what other coaches are doing and be inspired by it, but their story is not your story. And I don't know if you've had that experience. I don't know if you've seen someone, kind of steal your story or take your story. And that's kind of a weird feeling because their story is not your story. And your story is what makes your Beachbody path, your journey, your business special and unique and different for you. So you have to look around and say, okay, I can see that other successful coaches are doing X, Y, Z in social media, and it seems to be working. Now, how can I use what makes me special and different and unique and use what they're doing that's working and blend the two of them together to create something that works for me? So be inspired by others, but share your story. And the more you put your story out there, the more people with whom you will connect. For a long time, I didn't talk about how we were really poor. We were really, really poor. I mean, my husband was a football coach and I was a high school English teacher. And then I was a fitness instructor. So I took a pay cut from teaching, which is crazy to think. Even now, I work at the YMCA. I teach the YMCA because that's where my heart is. That's where I started at a YMCA. So I will always teach there. I make $11 an hour, just like every other instructor there. $11 an hour. So now imagine doing that without Beachbody in your life. That's crazy, isn't it? We were poor. And there was a time when this is before Shakeology, that I used to drink Diet Coke, and I couldn't find 2 quarters to put in the vending machine to get a Diet Coke. We had no money. And I rarely talked about that for a long time because it's embarrassing to think about. But the more I shared that, that's powerful for people, because how many of us know, how many of us experience the challenge it is sometimes just to get to the end of the month and pay your bills. It's a challenge sometimes. And when I started sharing that more, that made a difference in my business as well. So you have to share the pieces of your story that make you different and special and unique, and sometimes the pieces of your story that make you a little uncomfortable. And I don't mean you got to tell it all the time, but if you watch Lindsay Matway, who's I think still number 2 or number 3 in the business right now and a very successful coach, if you watch her multiple times throughout the week, throughout the month, you will see her refer back to how she started. Being poor, her daughter having health issues, waitressing in a bar, having mountains of debt. You will see her go back and tell that story again. Not the entire story, but pieces of it. Why? Because there are always new people who don't know your story. And that story is what makes her business so special and so unique. So you got to tell your story. That's number 3. Number 4, embrace the knowledge that you, where you are right now, can inspire someone. Embrace the knowledge that you, where you are right now, can and are already, even if you don't know it, can inspire someone. My middle daughter is a serious ballerina. And we went to New York City over Memorial Day to see New York City Ballet Theater and American Ballet Theater and a couple Broadway shows. And to her, if you're a dancer at New York City Ballet, that to me is like Justin Timberlake. Okay, that's her Justin Timberlake. So after the ballet was over, she wanted to go around the backstage and see if any of them could come out. And we kind of did it by accident. We kind of stumbled on it. We kind of came around and these, a couple of these dancers were walking by. She's like, oh, that's a dancer. And then, oh, that's a dancer. And I said, I think we're close to backstage. She goes, we must wait. I said, yes, we must. We must stand here and wait. Let's get a picture and an autograph. So we stood there and waited, and I watched her as they come out. She's so enamored with them. And so they are her rock stars. And I said to her when we got back in the cab to go to the hotel, I said, it's really cool to be inspired by these dancers because they have worked so hard and they were so kind to you. But you should know that there's a woman in my class who was an 8-year-old girl who came to see you dance the Nutcracker who did her class project on you. And you don't have to be a New York City prima ballerina to be inspiring someone. You don't have to be Christine Dwyer, a double superstar diamond coach, or Melissa, a double superstar diamond coach. You don't have to be a superstar diamond coach to be inspiring someone. You just have to be you. And you have to be okay with the knowledge that you are already inspiring someone, because you have figured out the fitness and health piece. And while you still might be on your journey and still figuring out, that's okay. You have already figured it out, and you've already plugged yourself into a community that is so positive and so passionate, and so unlike what so many grown-ups plug themselves into now. You've already got that figured out. Do you know how many people are out there watching you going, dang, wish I could do that? And the cool part is they can. We just have to invite them. So you're already inspiring people. Be okay with that. Don't downplay that in any way. Don't downplay the impact that you can have on someone's life. That is the cool part of this business. And that is what almost every human being on the planet hopes that their life can be. A life that can change and help others. And we get to do it every day. So know that you're inspiring someone, and you don't have to have a beach body or reach a certain rank or be a superstar to inspire someone. You're already doing it now. Be okay with that. And number 5, you need to empower your team. You need to empower your team. And by that, I mean, probably if you're on this call, especially if you're taking time out of your day to be on this call and you're building a business of any kind, you're probably a little type A, and you just get your stuff done. I mean, my husband always tells me, he's like, you just get stuff done. I'm like, yes, I do. I get it done. It's just easier when you do it yourself. You know, it just is. Why? Because clearly we do it right. So we just get it done. But that does not empower our team at all. And it is really easy for us. I'll just run the team call, and I'll just do this event, and I'll just speak at this event, and I'll just do this because I just know how to do it. But that does not empower my team to be leaders. And that's what we want. We truly do want a business. It's like what my husband wants with his coaching staff and his team. My husband wants a coaching staff and a team that if he is not on the field at practice, runs without him perfectly, because everybody knows what their job is. And that's what we want as a team. We want leaders that are empowered and taking leadership and owning this immense potential of this business, so much so that they start stepping into those leadership positions. And if for whatever reason we backed away, the ship would still sail. It would be okay. And that only happens if we let go and we delegate and we start letting people do something and we empower them. When I started, and that was hard for me because I'm type A, and especially as a master trainer, I'm used to running events. I just get stuff done. You know, my husband's gone all the time as a coach, so it was up to me. If I wanted anything done in my house, it's just up to me. So that is a challenging habit sometimes to break, and it's the most powerful habit that we can break, because the more we empower, the more leaders will step up, the stronger our team will be. Because, as John Maxwell says, it is the law of the lid. You know, we can only go so far on our own, and then our leadership stops. But the more we empower our team and the more we elevate everyone around us, we elevate too, and now the team grows stronger. A team with multiple star diamonds across the board is much stronger than a team with one 15-star diamond coach. It is. It's just a much stronger team. You have lots of leaders. It's not a case of too many cooks in the kitchen. It is a case of lots of strong leadership. So if you are that coach, and you probably could have some tendencies to be that coach where you just get your stuff done and you don't ask your leaders to do it, I really encourage you to stop and take a minute and think, how could I empower other people? It's no different than in our challenge groups when we see those challengers that start kind of stepping up to the plate, and you go, oh, you would make a really good coach. I do it in my fitness classes all the time when you see those rock star people in the first row, and I go, you would make a really good instructor. And they're so flattered and so surprised. And now you've got your leaders where you go, you would make a really good speaker on our team. You should run the next live event that we do. You should do, because you're so talented at that. Now they've got your trust and your belief in them, and they will be a much stronger leader than if you did everything. So those are my 5. You need to be open/coachable. You need to collaborate. You need to differentiate. You need to inspire, and you need to empower. Remember, it's all about not creating limits, instead creating opportunities. We don't want to create limits on ourselves. We want to create opportunities. Don't fight the thing that you need to know that you need to do. Don't fight it. Don't create that limit. Don't do everything yourself. Don't create that limit. Empower your team to do it. Don't think that you have to be out there on your own. You don't. That's why it's called Team Beachbody, not Julie Beachbody or Natalie Beachbody. It's called Team Beachbody for a reason. So collaborate with your team. Use your story, share your story, and make sure that you embrace the fact that you are inspiring someone. Whether you accept that or not now, you are. And it's a powerful thing. And we're lucky that we get to do it every day. So I can take a question or two. It looks like there's a couple in the chats before. Okay, so is that okay, Natalie? Do you want me to look at these and then see what's going on? What was the name of the coach again? Which coach?
Yeah, I responded. She was asking about Lindsay Matway. So yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, if there's anybody that has questions, I would, if you can hang for a couple seconds and
sure.
If anyone has questions.
Anyone have any questions? Who is doing a program right now? Not a hybrid. Do not raise your hand if you're doing a hybrid.
Not a fan of hybrids?
No hybrids. A hybrid is like, I'm going to read a chapter from this book today, and a chapter of this book today, and a chapter of this book today, and a chapter of this book today. You need to do a program because there's science behind the program. And when we do a hybrid, it's kind of like we're telling Sean or Tony or Shalene that we actually know more than they do. And I don't know about you, but that's not a conversation that I'd like to have with Sean. I'm pretty sure he knows a lot more than I do. There's science behind our programs and the way that they're set up. So no hybrids. You got to be doing a program, start to finish, all the time for the rest of your entire life. Because by the time you're like 80, there'll be like a senior citizens program. So,
well, I was with you because I'm an instructor as well. And so I was teaching, almost every single day, and I was doing personal training. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of the same way. I wasn't doing the programs. So I was doing CrossFit, and I loved CrossFit. And so I decided to put my ego aside, and I tried Max 30, and of course fell in love with it because I'm an insanity girl. Like, that's my soulmate workout. And so I did Max 30, was shocked at the results. And then I really prejudged 21 Day Fix Extreme. And so I put it off, and I finally sucked it up. And I did that after I did Max 30 and was blown away at the results. So absolutely blown away. So yeah. I'm a believer.
You got to find that instructor that you resonate with and you connect with. Thankfully I've had two. Shalene started my journey and Sean changed my life. If I could listen to him every day telling me that to trust and believe, I would listen to him every single day. And I think that I agree with you that I think 21 Day Fix, I am so proud of what that program has done for our business and who it's brought into our business and the nutrition piece of it. My goodness, how much more simple does it get? Yeah. Here's a container, fill it with food, eat it or don't. We can't make it any more simple for people. So I'm really proud of how easy we make fitness and nutrition. Autumn is not my favorite trainer to listen to, but I absolutely love 21 Day Fix workouts. I love them. I think they're fantastic. Yeah. I don't resonate as much with her, but that's okay. I don't have to. I just need to do the program because I'm going to have someone who wants to buy that program. I need to know it. I need to know it. That's my demographic when you think about it. 21 Day Fix, if you're a female on here, that's your demographic. It just is. We need to know that program inside and out. Body Beast is one that I haven't done, and it's really not my demographic, but I do have coaches on my team who have done it. So I know that when I have customers that buy it, I can send them to that coach as their resource and still work with them one-on-one. I had a customer, actually a guy I went to high school with that bought P90X3, and I was not doing a challenge group for P90X3 at the time. So he and I had our own challenge group. And he knew I wasn't doing the program because I was in the middle of Max 30. He knew that. I had my Max 30 challenge group on. So he would message me every day, a little Facebook message every day, and he'd go, today I did triometrics, whatever. I'm like, Mitch, that's so awesome. I'm like, today I did sweat intervals, and so we went back and forth, and I kind of coached him one-on-one through Facebook messaging. So he still got the coaching without the challenge group, and he was okay with that. But if I had a couple people that bought something and I wasn't doing that challenge group, I would match them with the coach and then still coach them individually because I think the challenge group is so powerful. To me, a challenge group is like a group fitness class virtually. And there's power in community, and there's power when people put a question in there, something like, oh my gosh, does anyone else snack at night? Because I'm probably the only one in the world. And they get like 20 responses. It's like, no, I do too. And then, then they get it. And so that's why challenge groups work. It's that powerful community.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I do have a question for you with your challenge groups. We used to do team-wide challenge groups every single month. And it was awesome. Number one, selfishly for me, because everybody chipped in. So it wasn't on my back. And I won't lie, I kind of loved that. And it empowered everyone on the team. But at the same time, I think it inhabited people like they weren't living up to their potential, because they weren't ever taking the lead on things, number one. And number two, it got a little diluted because we would have 100 and over participants. And so some people were like, it's just too big. I don't feel comfortable with my people in there. How do you cap that? Like, do you run it for your entire downline or just your personally sponsored, or how do you personally go about doing that at this point?
Well, it's kind of worked itself out a little bit. And that's a really great question that I think that we've been a little bit in transition the last couple of years because our team has grown. So it's certainly a question that we've had to tackle just a little bit. For the most part, my Diamonds and Star Diamonds are running their own challenge groups.
Okay.
So anyone who's mine and not a customer who's a coach on my team generally is an Emerald or below and probably doesn't have a real good handle on running challenge groups anyway. Mm-hmm. So they're in there and they're bringing their customers in there. Okay. That's not a huge amount anyway. Right. So most of the time it's my customers, and sometimes I'll team up with another coach because I think that's a lot of fun. So for example, Danielle and I are doing our Max 30 challenge group together in September, and we'll put our people in there. So if I have a coach who's Emerald or so below, and they still just don't have the handle on challenge group, then they can be in there, and that's totally fine. I also had, and this is a little bit of a unique situation, but I had some Diamonds and Star Diamonds who wanted to be in my Max 30 challenge group when I ran it the first time after the test group, because we were literally in that test group with Sean almost every day. He was doing live stuff, he's answering questions, and we had such hands-on that they wanted to be in the group that I ran, knowing that I would be communicating that information to them. I was kind of the Max 30 expert, which makes sense. Right. We have a girl on our team who's in the 21-day fix infomercial. Hi, she's our expert. So, it just kind of makes sense to use those people. But I find that it sort of has sorted itself out as the Diamonds and Star Diamonds are being empowered to run those challenge groups themselves. But again, if one of my Diamonds is running a Body Beast challenge group and I get a customer, I gladly put them over there. So I don't stress about making arbitrary rules, about challenge groups. It just seems to kind of take care of itself. And I don't ever really have challenge groups of 100 people. I just don't really have that. I have challenge groups of 30, and I think that's a nice number. And we all know not all 30 will participate. It's funny because my kids go to a school that has 5,000 kids in it this year. Carmel High School has 5,000 kids in it. There's only one high school in the town. And people are like, that's so big, they could get lost. And I said, you know what, honestly, you could get lost in a group of 50 if you wanted to. If you didn't want to participate, you could get lost in a group of 50. So if a person comes into a challenge group, whether it's 30 or 300, if they don't really want to participate, they're not going to. If they do, then they will. So, but I think there's some real merit to limiting the number there in some way, just so that brand new person who's intimidated anyway about coming into a challenge group doesn't feel like they can't post their pictures. Yeah. I've just found that on our team, it's kind of sorted itself out, and I haven't had to make any kind of thing. And you will always have the coaches on your team who just want to be a part of every group you run. Yeah. You could run, I don't even know what, a drink more water group. They're like, I want to be in it. So I'm like, why? I've done every group so far this year. They just want to be around you. Those are the coaches who want to be around you. They just want to be part of your community. So for the most part, I think it sorts itself out. And in my groups, I like to keep them around 30. Not really much more than that, so that people will post their pictures and we get some interaction. And I think that works for me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And yes, my challenge groups only run with the program that I'm doing. So no, I don't run a challenge group every month. No, I don't. And how do I hit Success Club on the second month? I just do, because that's my job. That's our job, to hit Success Club. So I do. Whether I'm doing a program, when I start Max 30 on September 7th, that'll take me 60 days, which means theoretically in October, I'm not running a challenge group, even though I am. And I will hit Success Club because that's my job, to share. So that's what I do. And that's what you should do too.
Yep.
Don't dilute yourself by running so many groups that you don't even know what you're doing. There's no point. There's no point. do 3 things really, really well. Don't try to do 30 things and do them kind of mediocre. You're better than that. And if you're on here, you're smarter than that. So do 3 or 4 things and do them really, really well.
And I think that's part of the problem. We can get burnout on all the groups.
Yes.
And so it's hard to find that balance. It is. So it's about finding that sweet spot for you and your business and your team.
Yes. Yeah. And when you can find the challenge group, so right now I'm doing a size challenge group, and I'm doing it with a couple of my other coaches, and I think we probably have like 30 people in there, but size lends itself to the videos and the pictures and stuff, and it's that you can't wait to get to do your workout and then to post your picture so you can see what everyone else is doing, and that is when challenge groups are fun, and that's how it should be. The business should be fun. Right. We're changing lives here. This is awesome. We're making a difference. The business should be fun. It will be challenging sometimes, and there will be ups and downs and peaks and valleys. But overall, this business should bring you immense, almost indescribable joy, because it can and it should. And if you're bogged down and because you're running 15 challenge groups, stop. Don't. Change. Do something different.
Yeah. Very good. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. Well, I appreciate it so much. So much good stuff on here. I really, really thank you for taking time out of your day to be with my team. I know that everybody got at least a nugget or two. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
So very much.
Thanks for sharing your
time. Anything before we end? Good. Okay.
Wendy's still down here driving. Are you at your place yet? She's home now. Okay. She's just driving in circles while we keep talking.
Yeah, she's on Bluetooth, so she doesn't want to stop or else it goes off. All right. Well, thank you, Julie. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Natalie.
Bye.